Hello everyone, this video about my trip to Phi Phi Island in Thailand. Our sightseeing day began with an early awakening because the hotel was far from the city. At 5:45, a minivan came for us and we were taken to the seaport. The road to the port took about 1 hour. At the pier we met the dawn. It was very beautiful because the sun was rising directly over another island that was nearby. At about 7 a.m. the whole group gathered and we went to take places on the boat. The boat inside resembled a bus or an airplane. There were many seats. The boat crew offered breakfast by bananas and soda. The boat was moving so fast, so our road to the first island took about 30-40 minutes. During the journey, our guide, who also was a captain, told us details of the roads and gave us some sort of tips on places where you can take photos. On the way, we saw several islands. And in general, the land was not a lost sign on the entire journey. The first place was the beach at Maya Bay, but to get there we were dropped off on the other side of the island on a floating platform. Despite the fact that we arrived early in the morning beside our boat, several other boats were already moored here. We realized that the beach would be very crowded. To get to the beach, it was necessary just to follow the path, which looked like a wooden bridge, which ran through the entire island. It was forbidden to walk on the ground, only on the bridge. The island itself is a very high cliffs inside which the jungle grows. On the island, except for workers, no one lives. The workers live in small houses that stand on stilts. Apparently, the island sometimes floods during the rainy season. The flora of the island is quite diverse. It reminded me of an excursion to the pyramids in Mexico, which are located in the jungle. So now we are in Maya Bay. I don't know what else to say. The closer we got to the beach, the more people there were. And it was a little alarming, because everyone wanted to take beautiful photos. Considering that we were given about 20 minutes for the whole walk, it was even little sad. Before entering the beach, everyone had to take their shoes off. And ta-da! Here we are at the beach. There are really very many people from the very early morning. There are also workers on the beach who made sure no one was swimming. Yes, swimming was also prohibited. Despite the crowd, we were able to take some pictures. Then we decided to walk along the beach to its other end. As a result, we realized that there are so much fewer people there, so we were able to take some more pictures against the backdrop of the sea. This just shows how many people are on the different sides of the beach. Speaking of the beach, it's just incredibly soft, clean sand, like floor or even ashes. It was very pleasant to walk on it. Unfortunately, we would not have had time to lie down and sunbathe. We found growing pineapples on the beach and of course we took pictures with them. We decided not to spend all the time on the beach and went for a walk around the island while the path was empty. And of course we took a lot of photos. The path itself is looped, so we easily return to the beginning. There are also toilets and places to eat on the island. All the islands we have seen have sheer cliffs that looks a little creepy. The next point was on the same island, but to get there it was necessary to swim around the island. Approaching the next bay, we saw a lot of small boats and private yachts floating there. The bay goes far inland and it's also surrounded by cliffs. We moved from the ship to the same small boat. There were about 6-8 people on each boat, but for an additional fee, it was possible to rent a boat for smaller group. The captain of our ship told us that we could build the route of the boat ourselves or even swim in the bay, but the driver of our boat decided otherwise and we sailed along his route. Everyone wanted to take a photo on the bow of the boat, so we had to do super express photo shoot. We moored next to the small beach where there were already several of the same boats. Time to the beach we were given about 10 minutes. The bottom near the beach was sandy, but there were large stones, so you need to leave the boat carefully. Since everyone immediately occupied the beach and began to take pictures, we decided to walk inland and find a place to change into swimwear, as we didn't lose the hope for a little swim. The path was very short and ended with dense thickets. There was some rubbish along the path, so we had to walk carefully. Having changed and returned to the beach, we waited for our chance to take some pictures next to the rocks. This ended the walk and we were taken back to the ship. On the way, we looked at the Viking cave from afar from the ship. Our guide showed photos of the cave on the phone, and our virtual excursion to the cave was over, and we sailed on. By the way, no Vikings, of course, have never been there. Our next point was the Monkey Bay with the Monkey Mountain, which were located on another island. We spent literally 5 minutes there, and unfortunately we didn't see any monkeys. Our next point was the village, which is located on the largest and main island of archipelago, where we had lunch. The village had a large street with souvenir shops, various restaurants, and in addition, there were several hotels in the island. Also, the streets were decorated with Chinese lanterns, as our trip was during the Chinese New Year. The village was really beautiful. Many of the buildings were built in Asian style. You could also see a lot of bonsai pots and a small garden with Thai statues. Lunch was a buffet, but traditionally contained a lot of spicy dishes. Unfortunately, I don't tolerate spicy food well, so I can advise everyone like me to go to McDonald's or Burger King. After lunch, we went to our last point, where we definitely promised to swim. The captain offered us snorkeling near the coral reef, so our group was divided into two, for those who did not want to or were afraid to swim in the open sea, and they were landed on the island, and the other group was taken to the reef not far from that island. We were all given swimming masks, and at first we decided to swim without life jackets. But in the end we changed our minds, because it's quite difficult to look at the seabed and the same way stay afloat. All in all, the swim lasted about 30 minutes. The bottom was very beautiful, and we saw many different fish and other marine life. While we were swimming, I somehow found 20 baths right in the sea, which were tipped for the boat crew. In the end, we decided to swim and dive, so we took our swimming vest and snorkels. An interesting fact that the ship was simply tied to the corals with a rope. In general, that rope made it a little difficult to swim next to the ship and dive from it. I even almost got tangled in it. After snorkeling, we sailed to the island where there was another group, and we were given another half an hour to walk around the island, where of course we took pictures. The island itself is a large sandy beach with some kind of coniferous plants which grows right on the sand. My advice: be sure to take hats and sunscreen because there are very few places on the island where you can hide from the sun, and of course their places are already occupied by someone. In the center of the island there are rocks and thickets. In general, the whole shadow was occupied by tourists lying in it. But since we're not planning to just lie on the beach, we decided to look for local wildlife. We were warned that next to the logs there could be monitor lizards, and we managed to film such an interesting video in the genre of Discovery on National Geographic. The rocks with trees growing on them were a great place for photoshoot, but unfortunately they were all occupied by boat workers sitting on them. Also, we managed to find one good place. This was our last place on the tour and we sailed back to port. The dolphins we saw on the way back were a pleasant surprise. We returned to the port about 1 p.m. and there we were met by such a cute kitty. In general, I plan to make a separate video later about animals and insects that managed to see during vacation. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to put a like and write comments. And for sure, follow me everywhere. Have a nice day. Bye bye.